Welcome back to 2ShotsInPodcast. I am Devin Burgess.
I don't like that.
Frank King.
I don't like that.
Who are you?
I'm Noah Fishback.
Thank you for joining us on another exciting and liquor-filled episode.
That was Applejack.
Sponsored by Devin Burgess.
It was what?
Sponsored by Devin Burgess. Sponsored by Jefferson Gun Outlet, the Shooters Club in Jefferson Indoor Range, located outside of New Orleans, Louisiana. All right. So last time we talked about the disaster that we're currently in. One. In the current political climate of how probably soon there'll be no guns left, no ammunition left, and, that's not going to be good. So, we are going to, without sharing at first, for anybody listening that doesn't have a whole lot of money, well, they're probably not going to be able to buy anything because everything's so inflated and crazy right now, but if you could only buy 3 guns, non-NFA items.
Non-NFA?
Non-NFA.
And I can only pick 3?
3 over-the-counter guns.
It's terrible.
Don't share your answers. We're going to pass them.
Oh, God. You guys. This is gonna be
3 guns you're limited to in this current crazy climate. Could be the 3 guns that you will own for the rest of your life. You might not be able to buy a single one in 6 months. Which 3 would you choose? See, I got my answers already thought out, see. I got mine thought out in order. So first, you could only have 1. Second would be you can only have 1 and 2. Third would be you can have all 3 of your top picks.
Oh, my God. Mine is so good. Yours all suck.
Yeah, mine are great. Piss on you.
That's terrible. It's probably got like a honey.
I say rolling
All right,
right
we're gonna pass him to the left.
On dubs. Wait, I didn't write all mine yet.
Well, hurry up.
come on, man.
Jesus
Come
Christ.
Well, I didn't realize we were on a time limit.
All right, well, here.
Shit.
Well, me and Noah will catch up while you're...
Noah and I.
No, this is 2 shots in. This is an English class. Me, Noah, and me.
1.
Ugh.
I don't really like that one either. Ugh.
That
I'm
was
glad you can buy these in taster packets.
That was terrible. Don't ever do that one to me ever.
Ugh.
What was that?
Noah, pull your mic closer.
That was Yukon Jack.
Are we getting ammo with these guns too?
Well, you're going to have to take that into account. I can't write it for you, Frank. I can hold your hand as much as I can. Give me a
Oh, I'm cutting that one apart.
Heineken out of that fridge.
Did you grab me a Coca-Cola?
Jesus Christ, that was disgusting. Sorry, Yukon Jack.
Yeah.
No bueno.
I'll tell you what. What was it we had last time? I'm telling you, you cannot beat that Dewar's White Label.
Yeah, that Dewar's was
It's
good.
that's a tough one to beat.
Dewar's Macallan, that's my favorite.
If you're listening, do the right thing. Send us a case.
Yeah, Dewar's, do the right thing. Send us a case. And Macallan, send us a case. Are you done with that list over there, Nancy? Jesus Christ. Should have sent
Don't
this
look.
text to you before.
Scared me. I thought my wife was here.
Yeah, don't cheat. All right, give me yours.
Oh, this is so good. America. Well, kind of.
All right, we're close. You and me are on
Very
the same
close.
page.
Very close.
Frank's going to come out of left field.
Totally. I already saw entry number 1.
This is guns, too, not speakers or electronic equipment.
parts for a van.
Right. What are you looking up on your phone, you psycho?
I forgot what it was.
It's nude pictures of Wendy the retard.
Oh.
It's a picture of her eating
Well,
poo
I gotta come up with
one
stuff
chick.
that I don't already have.
Well, no. You're starting from scratch.
This is in my trunk.
All right, give me that. All right, so number 1. You're such an idiot. Good choices, though. An M249 saw.
That's a great choice.
It is a great choice.
Belt-fed semi-auto.
See, you took extra time, and I might want to change my choices now.
It's bad.
Very
Well, see,
heavy, though.
I didn't know we had to start with wipe our existing inventory.
No, we don't. We don't. All right, so he chose a 249 saw as his first choice. Now, to a layman, that is a very expensive belt-fed squad automatic weapon. The civilian ones that you can buy over the counter are semi-auto. They shoot a 5.56 NATO round. It's heavy, though. It's heavy. How you gonna hump that from here to Texas when you're running from the Dems?
Throw it in the passenger seat of my Jeep.
All right, so I think ours are going to be a little bit more realistic, but a good choice, a 249 saw. If you have 12 grand and you're looking for your first gun, you fucking idiot, that is a good choice.
Well, no, but like I said, I didn't realize we had to wipe our existing collection
not clear.
and
You're
start
right.
from scratch.
All right, so
Because I would have picked the Glock 19 first.
oh, you saw
No,
ours.
I mean that's my first gun, my go-to.
That's in order. So that's you 1, 2, 3.
Yep, 1, 2, 3.
That's not bad. I can respect that choice.
Why would you choose an M249 saw, Noah? See, we're gonna have to try to dig him out of this hole.
I would not.
Right.
I would not. Your mag changes are going to be, less frequent.
Less frequent.
A little more difficult.
Right. Yeah, so a 249 saw is usually mounted on something like a vehicle with tires,
Well,
or
like
a
a Jeep.
helicopter,
Right.
or a Jeep.
Or
It's a large or heavy artillery, small rifle caliber. It's a 5.56. It's
I was
not
gonna
a
put
battle
M60.
caliber, but
But
yeah, right.
went with the
With
249.
deep pockets over here.
Lighter.
Absolutely. No NFA. No
yeah,
NFA.
no NFA. All right, so a 249 saw, great choice if you have $1 billion, and
You didn't say we were limited on money.
you're right. You're right.
You could have anything you
There's some
want.
ballers listening. All right, so a fair choice. go ahead, Noah. What did who did you got front? No, I got front. You got mine.
I have yours. So a pretty good list. Very realistic, I would say. So 870.
An 870 shotgun. You can put
Remington,
food on the table.
Pump action 12 gauge. You can
Get
do
some
most
rifled
things.
slugs. You can hit something at 100 yards if you know what you're doing.
Use it for
I
defense.
like an
You
870.
can hunt with it.
Got one.
Pretty generalized, but you got M4 here. So I'm imagining 16-inch.
Yeah, standard
Semi-auto,
AR.
standard
Now that
AR.
was a hard one, see, because I can bounce back and forth between an AK or an M4, and
Me
I'm
too.
very, very
Me too.
pro AK.
Me too.
So I kind of grouped those together. But
right. And
I'm surprised. What was you?
if anyone's
I'll let
listening, we
Frank-
have a couple of pistols coming in from Rifle Dynamics.
We do. Uh huh.
We're big on
Yeah,
Rifle
I think they're 6
Dynamics.
weeks, but they
Dibs.
said they were in stock. But I
Great
think
company.
they're 6 weeks.
Love dealing with them. Top tier. Great choice in an AK. So thirdly, you've got Glock 17. Another great choice.
17, 19. So you got a shotgun, a rifle, and a pistol.
Three
which
most
is what I
common
would
calibers as well. So you've got
Right.
5.56, 9mm, and 12 gauge.
See, I'm using my head. Frank
That's a good
chose a
spread.
helicopter, a belt-fed saw, and a submarine
and
with
a space station.
right.
But like I said, I already have a lot of this.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah.
All right, so a more realistic list maybe that it won't cost you as much or something like that. What did
Noah.
Noah?
Glock 19 Gen 5 was number 1.
Good choice.
Daniel Defense Mark 18,
Great choice.
number 2.
In a pistol.
And then-
in a pistol, by the way, so you don't have to do any NFA.
8.
Noah, why would you choose a pistol? AR.
Shorter, easier to tote. You don't have to notify any law enforcement agencies when you're traveling into different parishes, otherwise known as counties.
So for people that don't know, what is an AR pistol? Who would make such a thing?
Who would make such a thing? So
Is it the size of a Glock?
You're allowed to subvert the 16-inch barrel length requirement if you get an AR pistol. The AR pistols can be any barrel length as long as they have a brace or no stock attached to it, and that's classified as a pistol.
So if you want to get a sub 16-inch gun and rifle, you can have a pistol brace on it.
Absolutely.
Shorter than 16 inches, and you don't have to go through the NFA paperwork of registering it as an NFA weapon the same you would do with a suppressor or a machine gun. It's a loophole, which they'll
Absolutely.
probably...
Oh, I hope
that
not.
out.
Unfortunately,
God, that's my favorite thing is Mark 18 pistols right now.
after I did
Oh,
all
shit.
4 of my SBRs, that's when they said, "Well, braces are cool."
A lot of people like the idea of an NFA tax stamp now, though, because they think, I mean, I don't know why they think it, and I don't know if I agree or not, but they think that it would be more difficult for them to ban, which,
Oh,
I mean, I guess
absolutely.
it would be.
Absolutely, because you
So-
paid the government to have that.
Yeah, you have that
Right.
stamp.
Yep.
Well, I mean, they could do away with the NFA registry. I don't know
Well,
what
they
that
could
would
do
look
away
like.
with semi-auto rifles, and your
Right.
NFA items are exempt.
This is such a mess.
Well, they could just make every firearm NFA.
That's what I've kind of been hearing, through the pipeline. That's what he wants to do. You want to shut that fridge all the way? Or are you trying to keep it cold in here?
He's trying to keep it cold in here.
My
I can
balls were
respect
hot.
The,
I
I
just
can
wanted-
respect the
My balls are hot.
idea. So Frank's other two Maxim, which I do like. It's just like we were talking about with Noah's choice. It's a PDW. It's a short AR pistol variant. And 7.62x39, which is an interesting choice. Why not 5.56?
I already have plenty of.
Oh my God! You're missing the whole point of the goddamn list. These people have nothing. We're trying to pull them out of the sludge and give them some hope in defending their lives.
Well, you see, I think the majority, just like overseas, I think you would be defending yourself against a lot of AKs. Mm-hmm. So picking up a magazine or picking up somebody else's ammo after you blow their freaking brains out, that's
an AK available. Caliber was a lot cheaper too.
Yeah,
it was.
Things are such a mess right now, though. It's all about the same. But I
do
like
up in Washington in their infinite wisdom, they might ban 5.56 and say, that's such a horrible round
that is a thing.
Totally forget about 7.62. So.
Yeah, that is a thing in South America. You're not allowed to own military calibers.
And then a Barrett 50 cal. Why did you choose a Barrett 50 cal? Because I would actually, I know we're joking, but I would disagree with that choice. Why would you choose as your third choice a Barrett 50 caliber?
I was under the gun, no pun intended.
Oh, I hear you. It was a Hail Mary, the third one.
Yeah.
Called you.
I mean, I guess if you could only have 3 and it was a doomsday scenario, you could keep people off of you with that 50.
Well, and if I needed to make some quick cash, I could take it to the range and charge people $10 a pop to shoot it.
More like $50 a pop.
Well, yeah, that too.
Oh.
And make some quick cash.
Good gun, though. High resale value.
A lot of fun.
Big caliber.
A lot of fun.
Stop a truck with that thing.
Yeah. End to end.
Big smile. Big smile.
All right, so I think we've come to a... This isn't very good either.
What is that?
These $2 things at that wine place that opened on Vets.
So
they
Noah's third choice was a Remington 870 police mag.
Yeah, so me and Noah are on the same page. You're insane. All right.
Because I already have all this.
Fair choices. Do you think you will see the end of gun sales as we know it in your lifetime? And I don't mean the 90s ban. No. I mean
totally
a complete comprehensive restructuring of how people buy firearms in this country?
No, because I am the optimist.
Do you not? Why do you not think that? With a 3-tier democratic government now, which is, I think the last time we had that was a very long time ago.
You're talking about major changes to the Constitution.
I'm talking about major changes to the Constitution.
Well, right, but
the Supreme Court, Amendment.
The Supreme Court would have to make that decision, not Congress.
Well, I think if Congress can get it to the Supreme Court, they would have a lot of pressure on them to do that.
Well, I think they would, but those are. I mean, you have a lot of constitutional judges that are on the Supreme Court that know the Constitution, that know constitutional law, and changing amendments to the Constitution is a big deal. Because you change the Second Amendment, then what's next? First Amendment? Like, I think, who was it? Dave Chappelle said he gets the First Amendment to the Constitution, freedom of speech. He said the Second Amendment is there in case the First Amendment doesn't work out.
Absolutely.
I mean, he said the Second Amendment is there in case
the First Amendment is
in case they try to do something to the right. So they shred the First Amendment.
Right, exactly.
So I told you last time I was reading that, which is a lie. I'm listening to it on audio when I'm working and stuff. That book, Ordinary Men. The Gulag Archipelago is another one that's highly recommended, and I'm terrified of, because I have a kid now, believe it or not. I tricked some woman into long-term commitment. Thank you, Chelsea. You're a saint.
And thank you for taking his shoelaces.
I know. Yeah, they take my belt and shoelaces every morning. The store's been so hectic. You never know what's going to come down the pipe with me. But I
pick up those extension cords too.
Yeah, anything.
Anything he can hang himself.
I don't want to Epstein myself.
Ideas from Epstein.
Mm-hmm. But I was looking in that book next, and it goes into the Soviet Union when they pretty much killed all the productive farmers and labeled all of them. It was, as a Marxist, same thing. I'm not saying that we're there yet, because we're not there yet, but it shows you how identity politics and Marxism can get you 1 inch at a time to a place where, it's hell on earth.
Right.
And one of the first parts of that is taking away guns and then grouping people by their identity and then persecuting them, and then before you know it. So, like, if I look at you, right? If I look at anybody, you can break their personality down to 12 to 15 groups, right? So, white, certain tax bracket, you make a certain amount of money, certain religion, and even if you are on 14 out of the 15, not advantaged, they will find the one piece of you that is advantaged and a prosecutor of other people, and before you know it, your whole all of your citizens, within a country is now deemed bad and persecutable.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what happened in the Soviet Union and Maoist China.
It's not far off,
From the other side of the aisle.
Germany.
So I'm very, very scared of what's about to happen.
El
Probably
Salvador.
to an extent that's almost unrealistic, but
Well, no, I mean, if they decided to make major changes that turned us into one of these third world countries that are ruled by a dictator, I mean, they could do that, but you would have a serious civil war in your hands.
well, if they took away everybody's guns first or limited
But that's
the
just it.
sale
I
of
think
ammunition.
with the amount of people that think that confiscation of firearms is a precursor to that, I think that's why they wouldn't do it, because you would have so many people rise up, provided you have the people that aren't just flapping their gums and saying, "I'll fight till the fuck it,"
Well, that's why they say 3%er, because 3% of the people will
Right.
actually fight.
Do you
But-
think that, though? I think that's
No, I think
much
it's more like 0.5% of people are going to fight.
Yeah,
I don't know what I would do. I like to say that I would.
I think you would have defections in the military. I think you would have police officers that wouldn't want to fire on their own citizens. Right. You'd have a lot. If it came down to it, like really came down to it, I think you would have a lot more people that would stand up and say, I'm not falling for that shit.
Right. Well, the part that scares me though is that in the last 4 years,
because even when they say we're taking all your guns away, even in Australia, they didn't really take all the guns away. They allowed people to still have registered firearms and things like that.
Yeah, you can still buy shotguns.
Right.
Yeah, but I think
and even
you
in
have to
Canada,
keep them locked up in like a lodge or a range.
Well, and
I don't
even
think you actually have access to them there.
even in Canada, you have to register anything that is over 500 feet per second, which includes BB guns and everything.
Well, it can be kind of a trade-off, though. Paul and I were in the internet today, and we were looking at a Canadian website that was selling 14-inch shotguns.
Well, but you can own whatever you want in Canada, and I have a few Canadian people that I know because we're working on some software that's based in Canada, and once you get a license to buy a firearm in Canada,
It's like carte blanche.
you pick up the phone and you say, "Hey, I just bought this gun. This is the information on it," and they record it. Okay, thank you. Click, and that's it.
Now, I actually heard that in Canada, everybody's going to turn in their ARs. They've deemed ARs illegal now, and you have to 2022, if I remember correctly, to turn in your ARs.
Wow.
So they're, you got to get from
some
that.
cool, some not so cool.
Yeah, but is private was private sale ever legal in Canada? Do you know? That's the loophole here. Is even if you did that, there's no way to enforce that.
Well,
Not saying people should break the law if they were to do that, but they wouldn't be able to enforce that.
Well, because not every firearm in the United States is tracked. There is no registration in a lot of places. Yeah. So
there's only like 11 states or something that have
and then
firearm registration.
Private sales. Hey, I sold that gun 6 years ago. I have no idea where it is right now.
Right.
There's just no way of actually tracking where.
And you're not required to.
Well, right. There's just no way of knowing where those guns even exist at this moment. Increasing the penalties for being caught with a firearm or being arrested with a firearm or things like that. But that doesn't mean people aren't going to, hollow out a freaking wall in their house.
Well, that terrifies me too, because the people that are going to rob me on Broad Street when I take my wife to dinner are the people that don't really care if they get caught with a firearm because they're about to rob me and maybe kill me.
You shoot them and you say, hey, some vigilante showed up, shot these two guys,
He was
and
dressed
took
in
off.
black with horns on his head and a
And
cape.
he
And he
fucking-
talks like this.
And he jetted as soon as he shot these guys. I have no idea what the hell. Nobody saw him.
It's interesting that we started this podcast now because this is such a fucking mess that we're in, and I have no idea how it's going to shake out.
We're deep in it, dude. I mean, we got a ton of ammo today. That's it. I think that's the last one.
I do too. I think it's the last. So people that don't know, and this is, thank you for saying that because this is something I wanted to bring up. And we get negative reviews for it, and it really makes me upset.
How
but it's
expensive
understandable.
our ammo is.
Right, so obviously, if you've ever taken a business course, supply and demand, right? So as soon as the supply dries up and there's no more of one thing that a bunch of people want, the demand goes up, and people that sell us ammunition are usually out of it because they're large dealers that deal with hundreds of clients just for one salesperson. So if they get, like if our sales guy who I spoke to today, Steve, if he gets 200 boxes of 9mm, right, and he has 200 clients, which is a very small amount. I think they have thousands of individual dealers across the country that they deal with, and they probably have 20 or 30, 40 salesmen. They have hundreds of clients each that have bought from them in the past and require a certain amount of ammunition and guns to stay in business, to pay their employees. If they get 200 boxes, even a day, they can give each person half a box of ammo if they split it up like that per person, which they usually don't. Usually if you spend more money, you get, better access. But even if you get just a few boxes a day at a normal price that we can sell at a normal, but that's not the way it works, right? So when everything dries up and there's no more ammunition for those people to sell us, we go to other sources. We go to buying groups, online bids, auctions, wholesalers, other dealers that happen to have ammunition that is somewhat reasonable. And the last time we bought 9mm, and I shit you not, and I'm hesitant to post the invoice just because it has our dealer on it, or sub-dealer buying group on it.
Just
it's
block
a
that out,
dollar.
just so they show it.
Well, I mean, then they could say, well, you made that yourself, and blah, blah, blah.
No,
But it was about $1 a round. The ammunition that we got today was
last
about
time-
$1 a round, grounded.
The last
delivered.
time you were buying 9mm, it was 98 cents a round. You were bitching about it on my first round. On my second round, you bought 60 cases.
Right. So we're paying $1 a round for ammunition, and we're selling it for like a 50-round box. If we pay $50, we'll sell it for $59.90. So we're making $9 a box on ammunition. It's very limited quantities, and it makes everybody upset. It's just, God, it's such a fucking mess.
Yeah, but you got people. Of course, you got people who, I want to pay.
And then
why can't you sell it to me
downside
for
is-
this? What you bought it for?
The downside is Academy, which is actually very smart. They have such a large buying potential. They have
Capability.
such big weight to throw around that usually a year in advance they'll sign a contract that says we will buy, 100 million rounds from you. And that might go to the whole southern branch of Academy, 60 stores or whatever it is. And I have no idea about that. I'm just guessing. But 50 stores, 60 stores, 30 stores. Now, they sign a contract for a certain quantity of ammunition that they have to get, or there's a penalty by the manufacturer. So if they don't give them that ammunition for the price that it was a year ago, then they can take legal action to sue them,
Right.
and get their money back, plus I'm sure a bunch extra.
But they offset that with everything else they sell in
So
the store.
Academy, unfortunately, does have some cheaper ammunition prices. It's usually very limited. They usually get it once or twice a week, and
Right.
it's few boxes
It's gone in 10
because
minutes.
that manufacturer has already signed,
Or they're
probably
limiting you to one box per person or
Right.
something like that, which we don't limit anybody.
They're probably getting, $200 million worth of ammunition every 2 quarters or maybe every year, depending
Right.
on the region. But they're signing those contracts a year in advance, so they did very well on that aspect of it. But that's the price discrepancy that people don't quite understand, and it's understandable. But if we want to have ammunition to sell to our customers, who we appreciate very much, and keep our employees employed, that's the mess that we're in right now. It's going to get worse.
I just think it's insane that they want to ban specific guns just because of the way they look. Like, you don't think that. I mean, there's how many other guns are out there that shoot 5.56 ammo? Yeah. You know what I mean? That don't look like an AR. Or so what does that mean? You change the look of the AR so it doesn't look like the military style rifle into something else, and then you still sell it as a
like
rifle.
a Mini 14 or something.
Yeah,
absolutely. Harmless looking gun.
It just doesn't make sense. Wood. It doesn't make sense. Like I could have like that 1522 we got downstairs.
That was the number 4 on my list, by the way.
A 1522.
I just got that M&P 1522 AR pistol. That is a lot of fun. That's
the
most fun I've had with.
But that's what I'm saying. Like they'll ban that just because it looks like an AR and it shoots 22 long rifle.
Right. It's ridiculous.
It's stupid.
Love that gun.
So how long do you see? You were in? Did you work in a gun store in California or just in Oregon?
Just Oregon, and then here prior to that as well.
How old were you in California when you were into firearms in California?
94. I was 21. I was just of age.
So if they turn us into California, what did you have to do specifically when you went to buy a gun? Or
they just weren't available anymore. I mean, you had featureless guns. You had no muzzle brakes, no bayonet lugs. They had collapsing looking stocks that were fixed on there. Essentially, all it did was make the pre-ban guns more expensive. Green label Colts were $2,500. Back then. Even now, that's still a lot of
Which
money.
I think is what's going to happen. I think they're just going to. It's going to be. They'll do a buyback.
A grandfather clause.
Well, right. They'll do a buyback, and they'll try to get a bunch of them out of circulation. They're gonna make you register what you do have if it's, if there's any kind of record that you bought it or whatever, and then put strict penalties on things that are not registered, and say because if you get busted with something that's not registered, you lose them all. You know what I mean? So it's going to scare people enough to say, oh, well, this is what I have, because they want to limit the amount of firearms you can own also. So what does that say to collectors, who collect old pre-World War II or, certain era rifles or pistols? You can only own specific ones because even if you don't shoot them or you just use them for collection purposes, you can't own them.
And still, the funny thing is that you don't really know what you're going to do or think until it happens. Because like this SB Tactical thing that just happened recently, where they were talking about the pistol braces, and that you would have to register your AR pistol.
So what that is a AR that's under 16 inches that you can put a brace on instead of a stock, and it's still legal.
Right. So they were saying they were going to do away with those, and that you would have to NFA all of your AR pistols. You would have to short barrel rifle. The amount of people that were ready to do that was frightening. At $200 a pop.
Well, and that's just it. Today's.
You mean I can keep it for $200 each?
Well, right.
It sounds like fucking extortion to me.
In today's world, it's
like the guy with the 50 cal ammo that we had to buy to get all the money.
You have way too many rollovers. You have way too many people that are willing to say, "Well, okay, no big deal," instead of fighting for what they want or what they believe in. Right. That's the thing that scares me about the Constitution and about making changes to our way of life in the United States. Right. Is there's way too many people, especially these younger kids today, that are willing to say, hey, as long as you take care of me, I'll give up my rights. I don't care.
They'll vote them away in a second.
Well, that's why I think colleges in general are going to be non-existent. They're pricing themselves out of the market and then teaching only one side of history.
Trade school, man.
Which is also totally terrifying.
Trade school. Last time.
Has your daughter gotten more liberal or more?
She's actually, the more that they've talked about, she's actually gotten less liberal. She doesn't like the fact that they're getting more and more restrictive. Like at first she was on board because they're going to give me this for free and they're going to give me that for free.
You mean the colleges or the government?
The government.
Oh, okay.
At first she was on board because she was like, they're going to give us this, they're going to give us that. And they're going to take care of us, or it's going to be awesome. But then she started realizing they're going to remove, like they're going to take away her rights, and they're going to make choices for her on certain things. And she was like, huh, fuck that. Just like she's a big one on like, oh, I'll go to Canada for health care because it's free. I'll go move to Canada. And I was like, I know people that live in Canada, and there's how many people that live in Canada come to the United States for health care because they don't want to wait 4 years to get surgery,
So the way I understand it is the top tier is much better in the United States for health care. The bottom tier is better in Canada for health care. Like if you don't have health care and you're shit out of luck and you don't have any money, it's a little bit better in Canada. The top tier, if you have insurance and
you do have to wait. You do have
well,
to wait.
but
like a long time. Like
I think
like broke leg 6 months.
But I think even here in the United States, these younger kids are so convinced that we don't have free health care in the United States. But you have, I think even so for instance, my daughter was in a car accident, okay, with 2 other young ladies, both of which had Medicaid. Okay. They did not pay a dime at the hospital or for treatment or for anything following up. Before she and I left that hospital, I had to fork up like $1,200. After they examined her and took her blood to make sure she wasn't drunk and all that kind of stuff.
And you have health insurance.
Yeah, and I have health insurance, but they had Medicaid. And Medicaid covered it 100%.
Amazing.
My insurance, I got to meet my deductible first.
Yeah, I don't know if there's so many things that have ever compounded in the U.S. history that's all bad. Like the debt, national debt. I'm worried about that China's going to dump the dollar in a minute with... What's our national debt now?
Watch when the interest rates jump up to 20%. Where they're at 2.3 right now or something like that.
That's when you'll start seeing wheelbarrows full of cash.
And you can't sell your house because the housing market tanks because nobody wants to pay the interest. It's amazing. Or your value of your house is going to drop because in order to compensate for having to pay so much interest, nobody's going to want to pay $3,000 a month for a house that only cost them $180,000, stuff like that. It's insane. Just like credit cards right now. You don't want to buy Joe Schmo credit card, no name brand credit card.
Jesus Christ. The national debt is almost
139 trillion.
30. Well, no, it says the published national debt is 30 trillion.
Right.
The truth is 140 trillion.
Now, also, too, you remember all the $600 they're giving you, the $2,000 giving you?
Man,
that all adds up. We got to pay that back.
But that's free, Paul.
Yeah.
That's what I really don't like. I mean, I would have gladly not gotten $600 a month.
Well, you're about to get $1,200 more.
If I knew that everybody
or
else
$1,400 more
necessarily needed
two. Just give us 2. Because most people have spent
well, yeah, because they
6.
threw a shit fit because they dropped it to 1,400 because they already gave us 6 to make it 2.
Right.
So now they're like, oh no, that's bullshit. We want 2 on top of it. But somebody's got to pay that shit. Just like when Obama gave us those stimulus checks.
See the bottom line? Each taxpayer's share, $900,000.
Oh my God!
I'll take that note.
But Obama took it out of our tax returns.
That's going up by $100,000 a second.
More than that.
No, that's $1 million. That's $1 million a second, easily.
Yeah. See, the millions moving faster than a second.
I
Actually,
got shit eyes. You're right. That's $1 million.
Yeah, and that's like interest accruing.
Yeah. So if you don't think China might want to dump that dollar soon, you're nuts.
Well, China probably owns a good portion of that.
Yeah, but
debt.
if they dump it, they're going to be able to buy everything that we own.
For nothing.
And now we'll
Pennies
be
on
just
the dollar.
China too.
Right.
And then you'll have hyperinflation, and then the dollar's going to crash, and then everything's going to crash, and then we're going to be coming
But
here
that
with a U-Haul truck.
1 point whatever trillion dollar stimulus plan they just passed for us to do research in Asia for gender awareness
Do you know anybody that got the vaccine yet?
Mm-mm.
I know 4 people in Chelsea's family that got it, and they got super, super sick after the second round.
Yeah,
I know several people.
our company is going to start rolling them out in the next few weeks because it's a city. It's a city.
You gonna get
entity. Mm-mm. Well, I mean,
It's
I
optional?
don't want to. If they make us get it, that's a different story. But I don't want to.
The people that you know, Paul, got sick,
Yeah. One person. I have a.
died.
Well, no. He got crippling back pain and had to leave. Couldn't even drive home. And then another person that I know very closely, they were forced to take it, and they ended up becoming really sick afterwards. Also, and eventually they got over it. Not just the first rounds that they had.
I do know somebody that caught COVID 3 times. A nurse, and she had migraine headaches every single night
Jeez.
after she got COVID.
3 times?
Yep. Like, I mean, no, continuing. Like, even after she was done with COVID completely, every night she has migraine headaches
Wow.
going forward.
Yeah, they say the effects will stay with you for a while.
It's crazy.
Yeah. It is crazy.
This is probably the smartest conversation I've had in the last few months.
But this was all orchestrated. See, China gives us the virus. They stick us in our houses and they give us the stimulus, jumps up the national debt even more. So China controls it, drops the dollar, takes control of the United States, and they don't have to shoot one round.
And we don't have any guns in 6 months, so
Right. Let them walk right in.
Jesus Christ.
Here it comes.
Olympus down.
Bohica.
So if you're listening, buy guns, buy ammo. I know it's expensive. It's going to be more expensive in 6 months, I promise.
Because what was that?
Yeah, do it now.
Hirohito?
If you
The
can, do it
General
now.
Hirohito from
Behind
Japan?
every blade of grass.
Yeah, he would not invade the United States mainland because he said there would be a rifle behind every blade of grass.
Right, and nowadays it's 2 or 3. For now.
You think
Especially in the South.
the good old days of guns are gone?
I mean, has yet to be seen, but I think
I could see it. I certainly hope not.
even the liberals that have been coming in and buying guns, that's not me.
That's the funniest part. The people that hate guns, that tell us they hate guns and want guns.
Got to get one.
Yeah, when shit gets rough, man, you want a gun.
Yeah.
Well, it's natural to want to protect yourself.
Well, I mean, even Biden said, buy a shotgun.
Yeah, hang that bitch out the window.
Stand on your porch and shoot it in the sky.
Make friends with your neighbors.
Yeah.
Real quick.
Such a mess.
When you're raining pellets down on them.
Jesus.
Yeah.
I wish we had a crystal ball to see how it's going to happen in 6 months. I hope we have a job.
Did you
That'd be
see?
cool.
Did you see? Not to turn the road to get into like things like reparations and stuff.
Oh, that's another thing that was on his website.
But the movement for Black Lives Matter demands. Here's their demands. You ready? Number 1 is reparations. Number 2 is no bail. Okay. Number 3
What
is
does that mean?
What does that mean?
I'm just showing you. I'm just telling you what they showed on Fox.
Who's saying they're going to get arrested?
Number 3 is release all prostitutes from jail.
I think that's racist.
Number 4 is no death penalty. Number 5 is free education. Number 6 is free health care. Number 7 is defund the police. Number 9 is redistribute the wealth. And number 10 is publicly financed campaigns.
Oh, cool. We'll get right on that.
So socialism.
Yeah, exactly.
There's countries where you can...
I don't think people
move to.
realize how
It's
rough
like that already.
socialism is.
Yeah.
We've tried that before a few times. That's another thing that scares me. Nobody teaches anything about it. I mean, most people that graduate not even high school, college can tell you a little bit about Nazi Germany. Nobody knows about Mao China. Nobody knows about the Soviet Union. When they killed all their productive farmers and starved everybody to death.
That's not really gone over that much. When I was in high school, I think they gave a paragraph and a half to Vietnam in our history book.
Well, I didn't know anything about that until I started looking into it. So most of these people don't know how that's gone and why it's gone bad.
Well, that's part of it.
And we're going to do it again. That's wonderful. We're going to do it again in a minute. Another round of socialist Marxism.
Yeah.
I don't know where I read it, but I was listening to another podcast or something, and they were saying that 1 in 5 professors, is it Heights work? I think it's Heights. It's either Peterson or Heights. One of them was doing was researching it. 1 in 5 teachers in college say that they are Marxist.
Wow.
Well, like I said, when you got AOC,
What you showing me here? Venezuela, socialism.
That's your family pet on socialism and on capitalism.
Yeah, they said it was funny. I was looking at when Bernie Sanders was running for president. They had a meme that said it was a picture of that with dog, and it said Bernie wants to give your dog treats to all the other dogs. He wants to take your dog's treats and give them to all the other dogs.
There it is.
Jesus Christ. All right, man. Well, we got an interesting month ahead of us. We'll see you next week. I hope.
To say the least.
I hope it's a better outlook as to what's about to happen. But I think it's going to come hard, man. I think they got 4 years worth of pent up anger, and they're going to punish us.
well, from what the news is saying, the Democrats in the House and the Senate are getting kind of ticked off at Bernie for all this stuff he's passing with executive orders. Like he's just rolling shit out.
Oh, you mean
Biden.
Biden?
I mean Biden, yeah.
it's
He
all
did.
the same.
Yeah, he did
Yeah.
16 yesterday.
Yeah, but they're getting pissed off because they're not having any
Was it
say so.
16? I knew he was up to like 11,
Yeah, it's insane.
10 or 11.
I could be way off.
He's rolling them out.
So what? I don't really understand that either. Executive order, you don't have to go through any branch of a governing body?
Stroke of a pen.
No, but that can't be true though, huh? With anything?
Yeah,
You can just say
If
When it comes to war or when it comes to things like that, then
well, what if he
has
wants to
go through
ban?
Congress.
That's hypothetically, he wants to ban guns. He can do that without any.
It
That doesn't seem
nothing
right.
against the Constitution. So you can't do anything against the Constitution.
Second-
Well, who
second
interprets that though? What if he says that the Second Amendment was written, 300 and something
Well,
years
but
ago?
he can't. He has to take it to the Supreme Court. He can't just write a executive order and say I'm banning all guns. He can enforce restrictions because he's not outright banning them. He's not denying your ability to obtain a firearm. He's putting restrictions on it. Just like that's one of the ways that they can enforce a ban without actually creating a ban is by making them unobtainable. So if they put $500 tax on every box of ammo, nobody's going to buy it.
Right.
I mean, that'll force people to start creating their own ammunition, but
Then they'll make that illegal.
An executive order is a means of issuing federal. I can't read that, Frank. Read that for me.
an executive order is a means of issuing federal directives in the United States used by the President of the United States that manages operations of the federal government. The legal or constitutional basis for executive orders has multiple sources. Article 2 of the United States Constitution gives the President broad executive and enforcement authority to use his or her discretion to determine how to enforce the law or to otherwise manage the resources and staff of the executive branch. The ability to make such orders is also based on expressed or implied acts of Congress that delegate to the President some degree of discretionary power.
Yeah, I don't know what it means.
So in other words, he can direct the government on what to do and how to do it with executive orders, but he can't make changes to the Constitution. He can't declare war or anything like that on an executive order.
He could ban high capacity magazines and ammo, but he can't ban guns. type of
Right.
thing.
He could say you can still own 10-round magazines, you just can't own 30-round.
Right.
So they can put restrictions on things. They just can't say you can't have it at all.
I was talking to a guy that was on our podcast a couple weeks ago, and I should have asked him during, but I said, why, I watch these movies we're going to do in the next few weeks maybe. I'll put together some clips and we're going to review how terrible movies
Certain
are
movies
when they
are?
come to firearms and handling firearms and how they work and operate. Did you watch the Joker movie? God, I got so pissed. Chelsea's so mad when we watch movies together that have guns in them because
I do the same thing.
so the Joker guy, when he's in the train and he kills those guys, he's got a Smith 36 and 38. He's 5-shot Smith and Wesson, and he shoots them 8 times with it.
I mentioned that too.
And I asked,
I see stuff like that all the time. There's, in Ant-Man, he's got a Glock 17, and it's got a hammer.
that's interesting.
Because the ants crawl up and they block the hammer from falling
my God.
to shoot it.
So anyway, I said, why do you not pay somebody to? Because he's in the industry. Why do you not pay somebody to tell you, when they're making a fool of themselves like that? And he said, which was interesting. He said, we do. They just don't listen to.
Right.
Yep.
Well, Hollywood's going to Hollywood it up regardless. Just like I was telling him right before that podcast started, that I was watching this movie about. It was one of these cheap Navy SEAL movies, where they all wear T-shirts that say Navy SEAL on them, things like that. And they're infiltrating this camp, and there's these 2 guys, shooting out of a window, AK-47s, just pop, 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 just laying lead, and they bust in through a back door, and the guys turn around, and when they turn around, not one shell casing on the floor. Things like that. Or like you can see when they're shooting, they put the special effects in of the gun going off, the muzzle flash, but there's no round ejecting out of the gun. I noticed that like crazy on these movies.
Yeah, I don't understand why they do that.
It's hard to do, especially if you have a shot with multiple takes. You would have to make sure all those shell casings are exactly where they were supposed to be in the previous shot, and that would be an absolute mind fuck to do that. But some of the things you're talking about, they do get mentioned, and Matt's right. They just kind of,
Yeah, they say
nobody's going to notice
they
that.
just don't care.
Yeah.
Basic Joe Schmo ain't going to realize that.
Sicario, good movie. I was watching.
That's
the
a
other
really
day.
good movie.
Great
And
movie.
when Benicio del Toro is about to shoot your boy, when they're in all the cars are stopped in like a traffic jam,
TJ? Yeah.
and he's looking. He's gonna shoot. He's got like an MP5 or it's either an M4 or an MP5. But
No, it's an MP5.
The bolt's locked back to the rear when he's shooting him. Just stuff like that.
Yeah.
I don't understand why they don't.
But no,
take
that's the guy with the
extra.
glasses. He's holding the gun. Like
No,
when
they're in the car. The chick and I think
Benicio del Toro?
yeah, they're in the car.
Yeah, it's when she almost gets smoked.
I mean,
Right,
he
goes
is
right past her head.
that
with
is a
but it's
great
the bolts-
scene, though.
It is a good scene.
Yeah.
When
If
those-
anybody wants to see a good gunfight scene that I have no qualms about is Heat. That is
David.
Oh, yeah, that's amazing.
That's probably
Yeah.
the best shootout scene.
I think it's 33 minutes into the DVD. I could be wrong.
It's
It
a
might
long,
be
it's
12
a long
minutes
scene
long.
too.
It's-
That's a
Oh, yeah.
really
12
good.
minutes.
That's a really good scene. I watched
and
it
they
every
and
now
they
and then on
reload
Blue.
constantly, and they
Yeah.
it's a great show, a
Val-
great part of the movie.
Val Kilmer's reload on his Colt 733 is shown in the military and basic training.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're shooting and moving. That was really good. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
And I
And
saw
they're
that
actually
movie late.
stacked. They're actually
Uh-huh. Yeah, they
shooting
shoot
while the
and
other ones are
move.
moving, and the other they're leapfrogging.
That's a great movie. Michael Mann. Fantastic.
I like to end on a happy note. The world's ending, but we
was
still
good.
have Heat.
We still have Heat. You can always watch it.
Guys,
Hey,
buy
Sicario was really good. I
Sicario
love
was
Sicario.
good. Did you see the new one?
Sicario 2?
It's
Yeah.
like Day of the Dead or something.
The only thing I didn't, I mean, like when they shot him,
like that. Very good.
spoiler alert, when they shot Benicio del Toro in the face, and then like 6 hours later he wakes up, with just a really sore cheek.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
terrible.
There was a guy that used to work here that said I don't know if he's lying or not, but he said he had somebody in his platoon get shot in the head, and
And
it went
rolled around his-
and came out.
Well, that happened
100%.
in Fight Club. Remember?
Well,
He shot and it went all the way around to the other side.
Fight Club. I'm talking about a real.
Well, no, I'm just saying that.
Yeah.
But I've heard of that happening.
Such a great
It
scene.
rolls around the skin outside of the skull. I mean, that's pretty. That has to hurt.
I've been trying to get Gunny back in here to do a JFK because he's balls deep into JFK.
He's deep in that, man.
And I've been getting into it too.
Yeah,
Before we leave, you think Lee Harvey acted alone?
No.
Yeah, I don't either. I don't think it's even sensible to think that.
No, absolutely.
There's too many.
I think he was involved.
There's too many people that lied. There's too many people. There's too much stuff still hanging out there. Like the woman the babushka lady who was filming and has a perfect vantage of Kennedy when he got shot. And her video has nobody know who she was, or in her video has never shown up. You know, things like that. And then there's also the conspiracy theory that the Secret Service car following them, one of the guys
shot him.
Had a AR-15 and accidentally shot him, and that's what blew his brains out.
Could you imagine if it was just a big fucking mistake?
Yeah. But
I think he got shot twice. I think
but
the
it's
trach
because
wound that they say was actually a gun, because you see him. It looks like he
that
gets
came.
hit.
I think it came through his
It looks
chest.
like he gets hit, and he
But
kinda
there's
grabs
no
his
reason,
neck before
for
his
them
head
to have
blows
changed
up.
his to change the look of that to say they did a tracheotomy instead of the bullet coming through there. There's no reason for his brain to have just disappeared. You know, like they still don't know where it is to this day.
I got it.
There's no reason for them to
Bought
have
that bitch on eBay.
changed. Yeah, for the
I bought two brains.
little bitty
from JFK
glass,
on eBay.
little bitty glass
I
necklace.
think I'm wasting my
It's
money.
got a little piece of JFK's brain in it.
I have a whole
$99.
room full of brains. JFK had a lot of brains. I bought 8 or 10 of them on eBay.
But
so
like,
far.
there's controversy in the or conflicting reports in the two guys that did the initial autopsy who knew nothing pretty much. They were just pulled in to do this autopsy, and the two guys that did the autopsy when they brought him back to Maryland or wherever he came back to.
Yeah, they did one in Texas, and then they changed everything when they brought him back to Maryland or DC.
Because they actually changed the look of the wound in his head.
They changed that from an exit wound
Well,
to
right, they cut it to a tracheotomy
scar.
scar, yeah.
And they found the bullet magically on his gurney.
Right.
Which doesn't look good either.
Just laying there.
And it's perfect.
Well, right. And they even showed, like, they shot other rounds from the Carcano into other things. And they said even when we shot it into water, it deformed more than the bullet that went through him and Connolly.
Hit and broke.
Shattered his wrist.
Man, I'd like to know.
Think about that rifle for a second. We have a Carcano on the used rack.
Yeah.
That's a terrible looking gun.
It's horrible.
I don't think I'd use it as a club. To think he could get
have you
3
seen
shots
that?
off.
Have you
on
seen
target.
the round? The round sucks.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it's possible, but I don't think he did that by himself.
No, I don't think so.
I'd like to know, man. But we never will.
Oh, well, if they ever declassify the records, maybe.
What's the over and under on Kamala Harris being the first female president within the next 4 years?
I'd say within the next year.
I'd get a food taster, bitch.
All it's going to take is for Biden to start messing up speeches or start, rambling like he did before in the debates and in the prior to, and they're going to declare him unfit. And
how did the kids in the pool rubbing up his hair on his leg not wake anybody up?
And the thing and
yeah, when he was trying to say the
Pledge of Allegiance or whatever.
Pledge of Allegiance or Declaration of Independence.
Right.
Oh my goodness. Oh, poor guy.
It's crazy.
That's really sad, actually. I don't think they should be doing that to him. Poor guy, they're prancing him out there.
I mean, what, he's going to be when his term ends, he's going to be 90?
No. I think he's going to be 83 or something when his term ends.
Insane.
Yeah.
He's like the oldest president ever.
Yeah, I think he's 79, and it'll be like in his mid-80s when it'll end, 83 or something.
Even when he walks out onto the stage, he's like, he looks like he's a fragile old man. It's not a good representation for the United States.
I don't like either that government and now big tech are now one thing.
Oh, yeah, that's crazy, too.
See, I really think I had a millimeter of hope when I watched his inaugural speech. And I honestly thought, because I'm an idiot, that he was going to say, look, I'm sure he would have said that we had a terrible 40, blah, 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 but we're going to ensure that Trump's Twitter and everything is reinstated. We're going to, my presidency is going to start from scratch. We're going to actually heal. And of course, he said, Trump's a piece of shit. He's a devil, and we're going to take down all of the
all the memes of the letter that he left Biden. Have you seen those? There's so many. Like it just says, I won. Things, there's another one that just says "fuck you."
I'd like to eat dinner with that dude. I bet he's a trip, man. Eating dinner with Trump, I bet he's a trip.
Totally. That would be an interesting time.
But they're still bashing the guy. They're still saying how he's going to go down as the worst president ever in the United States, and he's blue collar. He's fought for the little guy. Where all these politicians are self-serving.
I still don't understand how they're trying to impeach him in the next 40 days. I don't even know how that.
That's Nancy Pelosi getting that last fucking dig. That's all that is.
Well, if they impeach him a second time, supposedly he can't run again.
No, they have to take it to another trial for that.
What do you mean a second time?
Because he was impeached once already.
Once.
Who?
Trump.
He was just acquitted.
Yeah, Trump was impeached already. Once earlier, and then
he was successfully impeached.
Yeah, he was just never kicked out of office.
Right. I did not know that. When was he impeached?
That was like August, July, something like
that.
that.
No, I know they had an impeachment hearing.
Yeah, that's when he got impeached.
No shit, huh? Well, once you get impeached, doesn't that mean you have to leave?
No.
Bill Clinton was impeached.
Yeah, we've had 3 presidents impeached now. But when you get impeached, then you have to go to the Senate or the House, whatever. It goes to there, and then they can kick you out or overturn it.
Well, and because of the way it reads, it says that you would be removed from office, and it would deny you the ability to run again.
First time
for any
September 24th.
Run again for any
public office.
Yeah.
But because he's no longer in office, they have to do a special hearing to determine if they can split that up. Because in the wording it says, he can be removed from office, and it doesn't say and/or.
I got you.
So they're technically the same thing, and because he's no longer in office, they have to do a special hearing to determine if they can vote and say he can no longer hold public office.
Right. That's like what I'm not sure how it works, but she has articles of impeachment. She has to turn them in.
Which they filed.
The second phase of the impeachment.
They filed articles of impeachment against Biden today, too.
I still don't.
Yeah, they did. They did. And
who?
This female senator.
Wow.
Yeah. And
for abuse of power.
Yeah.
Oh, and also, this is kind of off track. 2 senators this week were both caught trying to bring handguns into the Senate floor.
What is that? What do you think that means?
You're allowed to carry them on the grounds and in the hallways, but you cannot access the chamber armed.
But that was an uncomfortable
absolutely
10 minutes.
I just kind of heard it on
well, that female,
on the TV as I was leaving out. I heard that somebody got stopped at a metal detector and tried to give the gun to another senator or congressman, and that person refused, so he had to leave the building.
Well, there is
and come back.
There is one female senator that specifically said she's not going to not carry her gun.
I think that was the first one.
Yeah.
This was another one too.
She said, I'm a legal concealed carry permit holder. I'm going to carry my gun.
Yep.
When, today?
She's always said that.
I think that was earlier this week.
So she's still carrying her gun in the Senate? Well, good for her.
Yeah.
We should have her on this podcast.
Come on in, girl. Don't bring your gun.
All right, guys. Till next week.
Yeah.
2 Shots In Podcast. I'm Devin Burgess.
Frank King.
Noah Fishback.
Who's our producer?
Ball hand price.
All right. Stay tuned. Keep your ammo dry and loaded. Learn how to shoot if you don't know already.
Oh, did you see that guy that they busted from the...
Showing his wiener to people?
No, from the... he's the zip tie guy from storming the Capitol.
Yeah.
They said that because of that, they raided his house. Okay.
And found dozens of zip ties.
No, they found his hoard of guns. He had a like, I think they said he had 12 guns or something like that. And
Paul's
look,
laughing.
hundreds of rounds of ammunition.
Hundreds.
And I was like, Jesus Christ. They're going to think they raid anybody's house down here. They're going to think they're in World War III. You know, it's crazy.
You think the southern states would be? Do you think if anything happened to that effect, that the country would separate?
Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
Like
I
down the
think
middle?
you'd have North and South again.
It's so depressing, though, huh?
It is.
Well, but I mean, but you only have specific states that are strong blue, you know? And unfortunately, they're the biggest pussies.
Right?
They're all the flip-flop wearing, you know, let's love everybody, fucking, you know.
It's terrible.
That's what I'm actually really scared of, is that you've seen the left side of anger, but you haven't yet seen the right side. I mean, they say the Capitol invade, you know,
Yeah, they're turning that into, like,
Right.
they destroyed the entire city of fucking...
right, but you haven't really seen that side yet. Man, I hope we don't,
Terrorist attack.
because that's going to be rough. It's going to be a sad, bloody day in American history if you see that side.
Well, man, it's happened before. History does repeat itself.
It certainly does.
I'm not condoning it,
Absolutely. Not.
but, I mean,
It does repeat itself.
history does repeat itself. And I think that you do have...
Just like
See,
fashion
just like
comes back.
I did read that Trump wants to start another party. He wants to start the Patriot Party.
Well, I'm surprised that independent or there isn't a third party that's after all of this, that's really
Yeah, it's
taken front stage. If this can't do it,
Yeah, two-party system is doomed from the start.
but they're just like they've ripped the big media now because they've praised Biden so much, or they were so
big media is dead.
Such jubilation because he was elected. You
They're
know,
gasping for air, a last desperate attempt. I don't think you'll have big media. I mean, they're pulling 2 million viewers. Some shows like Ben Shapiro's show and stuff, they triple that every day. So big media is slowly dying, and they're doing it to themselves with that clickbait bullshit and lying. That's why, I mean, this podcast and stuff have, I think, a bigger reach to a broader audience,
Well, and I can't even believe that they're trying to impeach Trump because they said he's responsible for the riot.
Right.
Like, he went out there and said, I think we should storm the Capitol. Which is,
Right.
I mean, he didn't say that at all. He didn't say anything like that. He didn't say anything remotely,
He
insightful.
actually said, peacefully,
Right.
nonviolent.
He did.
But when you lump everybody together, so you can prosecute everybody as one. Ugh. This makes my head hurt talking about this kind of stuff. 4 more years, maybe. On the 5th year, maybe we'll have some.
Now, you might see some serious shit if Kamala Harris takes over.
I think the next year is going to be the tell. It's going to be very interesting, and then we'll be able to gauge what the rest of the...
And the bad part is I think he has the ability to make a difference in the mess. But I think he's going to...
Well, the way he's putting it...
the hard left.
The way he's putting it is he wants so much unity and love and peace and all this.
Which means if you don't think their way...
Well, right. But
you're
then
the
he's...
enemy.
But then he's already isolated everybody that's in every
That's
Republican.
half the country, man.
Right. Well, it's more than half the country. If you look at if you go by just the majority of the states, like the voters in the states, what do they have? 13 states or 12 states or whatever that were red? It's just crazy.
It is crazy. I never thought I'd see it like this, really. This is not how this country...
And they're saying the Republican
promised.
Party is who's destroying the fabric of the founding fathers in the United States. And it's the exact opposite. But they're just getting away with saying whatever they want to say because they know I heard on Scoot online, on the radio that these people were calling in saying
He's
how
still on?
yeah,
Wow.
They were calling in saying how the the Republican Party are the liars, and they're the ones who are unraveling the United States, and they're the ones that are. I mean, it's just crazy.
I think I did I don't think it's Scoot. I think it's something else. Is that it, Scoot?
His name is Scoot.
No, I'm thinking of somebody else.
It used to be Scoot in the Morning a long time ago.
Who am I thinking of? I did, like a year ago, I was on their show and he got all pissed off and I got pissed off at him and they cut me off. I was trying to plug the store. He was talking about NFA items. I don't think it sounded like Scoop. Are you sure his name is Scoot?
Scoot. With a T.
Yeah.
Maybe it wasn't him. All right. I'm going to go home and cry. Till next week. 2 Shots In Podcast, guys. Thanks for listening. We will hear you again soon, or you will hear us again soon. Maybe even see us if you watch on YouTube.
Maybe,
and actually
maybe.
watch. If you want to buy a gun, buy ammo, shoot your gun. Jefferson Gun Outlet, Jefferson Indoor Range, and the Shooters Club, New Orleans, Louisiana. Till next time, cue the music.